This is the video that some of you might have been waiting for. Some of you might not care about it, but I have got my laptop ready to show you some of the evidence of how I broke eBay to get more sales. Before we start this video, everybody is different, right? This might not make any difference to you. You might be successfully selling loads every week. This is for people who are struggling on eBay at the moment. I've seen a lot of people saying they're not getting no sales. I've even seen people quit eBay because they've had enough of it. And my sales have been pretty much not as good as last year at this time. So I needed to do something about it. It's not only just doing something about the sales, but I wanted to do something for myself to give me more time as well. One thing that people seem to forget in reselling is you are self-employed. And that means you are doing this because you don't want to do the 9 to 5 job. You don't want to do the 12-hour shifts. Being self-employed in any business means you've got the luxury to do what you want. I see a lot of people working lots of hours and not getting anything from it. Some people are. I mean, if you're getting lots of money and making lots of sales, then well done. You know, you don't really need to watch this video. It's not a gloating video. I know I don't want people in the comments saying, oh, is that all you've made? Or is that how many sales? Oh, I make more than you, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to do that, then why are you watching in the first place? If you're trying to try and belittle people, there's going to be people in the comments who have not made as much as me. There's going to be people who've made loads more than me. And I don't want comments like that in this video because I'm trying to help people who are maybe struggling on eBay and maybe thinking about giving up because they just see no point in it. I have done this on Vinted as well, so I'm going to tell you how it's worked on Vinted. It hasn't worked as well, but I've still done all right. Vinted is nowhere near as good as eBay. People keep on saying that eBay's broke, eBay doesn't get me much money now. Oh, I'm going to go to Vinted. Vinted is better. Vinted is not better. If you look at your stats, I guarantee you are selling more on eBay than Vinted. You might get a good few sales. Yes, it's great because there's no fees. But if you look at your monthly sales, I guarantee eBay is better. So before we get into this video, if you could do me a massive favor, like it, subscribe if you're new, just makes the channel grow a bit more. So then, I have got everything written down. I've took all my stats off the laptop, so I don't really actually need it. And I'm going to tell you my total after the week I've had doing this new plan. The main reason to do this plan is nothing to do with how many sales. I think you can get sales and not get sales no matter what you do. I feel like there is an algorithm and there isn't, but I don't think anybody knows what it is. I think it still is luck. So you probably watched loads of videos like this, maybe people saying you got a list to get more sales. I've even done videos like that. And that is the fundamental thing of getting more sales. If you list more, you should get more sales. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. And you feel like you're listing every day, doing everything what you're meant to be, what people are saying, what eBay is saying, and you're not getting nothing from it. And the thing is, you're wasting your own time listing every day, no matter how many you do, if you do 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 or whatever, but you're not getting what you deserve back. You know, you're spending a lot of time going out, finding these items, listing them, and you may be getting a couple of sales. So I have came up with a plan. It might work for you, it might not. It all depends on what your lifestyle is like. My lifestyle is I'm a single dad. I have no help other than my mum helping me out when I go out picking, you know, car boots and all that lot. And he is my responsibility. I have him 5 out of 7 days a week. So I'm not a part-time dad. I'm not just looking after him at the weekends. But when I started reselling, I thought it's going to be easy. And it is. I always say, people say reselling's hard. I don't think it is hard. I think it's the easiest job I've ever had. You know, going around picking stuff up for quite cheap prices and then selling it for a lot more. I'd rather do that than work 9 to 5 in a job on minimum wage and get moaned at by some idiot who really doesn't know much more than you. So it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. You're your own boss. You can do what you want. You can work when you want. You can basically do whatever you want to. You can have a week off if you want. But obviously, if you don't do anything, your sales will fall. But what I did it for, obviously, because I wanted to be self-employed. I wanted to be back where I was before, self-employed, because I used to be self-employed. I'm going to tell you a bit about my background in a minute, but mainly so I can spend more time with my son, right? And I wanted to have a job that I thought would be easier for me to do all that. And I came across reselling, found it quite enjoyable. You know, I do enjoy it. I've never had a day where I just feel like, oh, I can't be bothered anymore. I feel like every day is different and it's interesting. I like researching things. Obviously, when you pick up something for cheap and you sell it for a lot, it gives you a massive buzz. You know, so many highs. But the only trouble is when you don't get sales, you don't get much for what all that effort you put in. What I'm going to do in this video is tell you how to get all that back. So you get more sales and more freedom. People have got no families, got no relationship. Maybe there's a single person. This doesn't really apply to you because you got all day to do what you want. You don't have to take your kids to school, pick them up, take them to places, go out on days out, maybe go out with the missus, the fella or whatever. And you don't have to worry about that. You can pick, you can list whenever you want. You've got the whole day to do that. But when you've got responsibilities, it's a lot harder. You know, I am a single dad. So from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock, I've got to decide what I'm going to do. Am I going to go out picking? Because if I go out picking, pretty much not going to list all day, you know, unless I do it at night time. And I don't want to do that all the time. You know, I have been doing it. And what happens? I feel guilty because I'm not spending time with my son. So I came up with this plan to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I'm not saying it's going to happen all the time because sometimes life happens, things come along, you know, and I might not be able time to do it, but I'm going to try and make sure that I do this every week if I can, and just make sure that if I do this, I have got lots of time to do what I want to do in the week. And that doesn't mean family time. If you are single and you've got no responsibilities, it means you can do a lot more picking as well and not worry about the listing part. And this is the video for you as well if you want that. I'm going to tell you a bit about my background and what I used to do. And this ties in with a lot of what I'm going to say, because people keep on saying that sales are rubbish on eBay and all that lot. And it's just the way life is. You know, if you've worked in any other company, in sales, in retail, as a self-employed person before, it's the same in any business. You have good days, you have bad days, and it's like that. It will always be like that. So when I first started working, my first proper job, I was a chef. I qualified as a chef. I did it for a couple of years. Didn't really like it because it's long hours. Some days used to be absolutely manic, like weekends, but then other days, like a Tuesday, it used to be really quiet. So we used to promote stuff like OAP Day, where obviously older people can come in and eat for half price and so on and so on. You know, just to try and get more people in and, you know, make more money. The next job I had was me being self-employed as a landscape gardener with my dad. I did that for 15 years. And again, sometimes it was absolutely dead, especially winter. Who wants to do their garden up in winter? But in the spring, summertime, always busy. Had loads of jobs to do and had, you know, plenty of money. Finally, I moved into retail, which I was in B&M for 5 years, just as a normal employer. And then at the end, I became a manager, and busy times and quiet times again. After Christmas, absolutely dead. Nothing in there. No people, right? You get the regulars coming in for food, but other than that, no one was buying any of the tech or toys and so on and so on. But then summer comes, garden section came out, busy. Christmas, busy. And there you go. Again, good days and bad days. And it's exactly the same in reselling. Why would it be any different? In the end of the day, you're trying to sell stuff, right? You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. But anyway, none of that matters. This is about how I broke eBay and got more sales in a week. So I started on a Wednesday for some reason. I started on a Wednesday and I finished yesterday. So this is Thursday now, and I'm going to tell you my stats of the week and how I did it. So I wanted more time, and what I did is something that we've all probably done before, but have we actually stuck to it? And that is scheduling. I wanted to schedule, and I've done scheduling before, maybe 2 days in advance, and it's great because you don't have to worry. But I actually scheduled for a whole week, right? I did it over 2 days because I started late. I really should have started like about 9 o'clock in the morning, but I started about 12, and I did it all over the day, and I carried on the next day. And I scheduled for a whole week, listing 10 items a day. So for that particular day and the day after, I had time to do all this because I had no child with me. He was at his mum's, and I thought this is the best time to do it. So I scheduled 10 items on both platforms, Vinted and eBay, for every day, coming out at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that is what I did. No special secrets, no cheat code or nothing. People are probably going to say, oh, is that it? Wow, I've done that before. But have you listed for a whole week? Because that is what I did. I listed and scheduled for a whole week. Not draft, not taking pictures and drafting them and leaving them there. I scheduled. So I did 10. I listed them straight away on the Wednesday. Then I did another 10 taking pictures, and then I got them all on eBay and scheduled them for 6 o'clock the next morning. And then I did so on and so on and so on and so on. And then I copied and pasted them and did the same on Vinted, and I drafted them on Vinted because you can't schedule them. And I did that every single day for a whole week. But did it work? Did I get more sales? But more importantly, did I make more money? Because sales are great. Yes, it looks good. Oh, I sold God knows how many. I'm ace. Yeah, wow, I'm a great reseller. You know, it doesn't make any difference how many sales you get, because in the end of the day, you can't spend sales. You can't buy stuff with sales. You have to buy stuff with the money you made out of them sales. You could sell 100 things for £1, yeah, and you made 100 quid. That's not good. You know what I mean? I could sell one item for £1,000. What's better? You know what I mean? So sales, yeah, you should get more money if you make a lot more sales, but not all the time. It all depends on the items. You know, if you pick up good quality items, you don't need 100 sales a week. You know, you just need good quality items, things that can sell fast, things that can sell for quite a bit. And then sometimes you have the bits and bobs which just are, you know, make you the little bit of bread, you know, the bill pays and all that stuff. So I'm going to tell you, I've got my piece of paper. You know me now by now. I have always a piece of paper to write all my stats. Wednesday, the 19th to the 26th of April. That is the date of Wednesday to Wednesday, okay, of last week. And I've got my eBay sales and I've got my Vinted sales. So we're going to go through Vinted first because I said it doesn't really work. For some reason, I don't think the algorithm, what I did here, works with Vinted. I haven't got a clue. When it comes to Vinted, I just think it's pot luck. People want to buy certain things. I think if you have certain items on there, they sell very quickly. Like anytime when I have anything with Gore-Tex, it sells quick. You know, I know people sell a lot of Ralph Lauren stuff on there and it sells very quickly. But other things, I don't know. It all depends on what you're selling, okay? Anyway, I had 7 sales. So one a day, you could work it out, but it wasn't like that. It literally wasn't. And I made £153.98. So that's not too bad. You got to think that's not too bad. On eBay, you'll see now on the screen is my statistics for that week. I had 31 sales, making £848.95 in a week. That is a very good week to me. Obviously that is sales, it's not profit, but if you know me, I don't pick up much which is more than a fiver, only if it's worth a lot of money. And recently I've got the card still here. Yeah, one of my videos I made a good bit of profit. I made over £100 on Pokemon cards and I paid £1.50. If you want to go and see that video, it's I think it's yesterday's or the day before. Absolutely smashed it. But in total this week I've made £1,002.93 in sales. You can't say nothing about that, can you? That's not profit, you know, that's sales. But even if you take out that, and I'm being like really harsh on myself, and if I take out 300 quid, that's still 700 quid this week. And I know for a fact it's not 300 quid. In obviously your fees and what the items cost, I know for a fact it's more than that. But £1,000 in sales in a week, by the way I've been doing it. But the money, the sales, means absolutely nothing. It's about the freedom I've had. Doing the way I've done it has made my life a lot more easier, and it's also showed that I can make some money from doing it. I'm not saying it's going to be like this every week. It could be more, it could be less. We don't know. And that's the thing. eBay's weird. Reselling is weird. Generally, anything what you sell in the world is weird. People buy stuff when they want to buy stuff. You have got no control over that. But if I can make £1,000 a week in sales by doing one hard days of work, because that's what I'm trying to say to you. Find a day that you're not doing anything. So if you have got kids, right, or you have to look after somebody, right, spend one day. Get up, maybe crack of morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, take loads of pictures. If you want to do 5 a day, 2 a day, 10 a day, 20 a day, that will be very hard to do 20 a day. But however many you want to do to schedule each day, do that. Take the pictures first. That's what I did. I took the pictures first. So I took 70 pictures and they was ready. Then I listed 10. Then I scheduled 10, scheduled 10, scheduled 10. And also, one of the days, I didn't even list anything what I actually took pictures of. So what I did, I took down 10 items which have been lagging on my eBay for ages, sold a similar, tweaked it around a bit, and then I think a couple of them are sold, but also more items sold because I listed another 10. So you can do both ways. I mean, you can list 5 and take 5 off the eBay which you're not selling, and obviously lower the price, change the title and all that lot. You can do it that way. As long as you schedule 10 a day, I would say, or 5 a day, it doesn't matter. Whatever you can do, just schedule everything on one day. Then you've got the whole of the rest of the week free to do whatever you want. You want to go away, you want to go picking every day, you want to, you know, just do nothing and watch TV. You can do whatever you want because you've got the freedom now to do whatever. You don't have to worry about listing because every day the listing, what you scheduled, will be coming on in the morning. And that's what I did. And it worked. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in a couple of weeks' time if you do try it and it worked for you. And yeah, happy selling.